A new batch of buffies recently dropped, and just like last time, I'm going to be ranking them from worst to best. However, this time, for gadget and star power buffies, I'm going to mostly focus on the stronger one of the two. The weaker one won't really affect its placement since it's simply never going to be used, so why should that affect its ranking? Hopefully this will show the power of each individual buffy more fairly. Before that though, consider pressing the subscribe button and liking the video. It truly helped out a lot and I really appreciate it. But now, let's get into the ranking. 18th, Nita Gadget Buffy. Nita's gadget buffies are just pretty useless. Her gadget buffy either gives her a super short immunity that she doesn't really need, or an attack buff that only adds 400 damage specifically to her bear, which is already useless, but even more so if you have Hyper Bear. 17th, Bull Star Power Buffy. These buffies are way too situational to actually be practical. Needing to be under a certain health for the buff, Bull has another immunity shield that's way too quick to be useful or an insta-super only if you kill someone with the super. Decent, but way too annoying to use effectively. 16th, Nita Star Power Buffy. Having that overshield doesn't help much when the bear can never actually reach the enemy and it also drains so quickly. And then her reload speed wasn't ever really a problem for Nita, so having an increase doesn't really affect her placement at all either. Neither of these buffies are super useful, in the slightest actually. 15th, Bow Star Power Buffy. You'd think being able to shoot without revealing your position would be good, but you almost never use this star power anyway, so it's not that useful. Then placing mines faster doesn't exactly help Bow in any way, so why should this buffy matter? Not that useful. 14th, BB Star Power Buffy. BB Star Power Buffy is by far her worst buffy, and it's not even a close competition. She either gets a damage boost only when she gets a charge bar, which could work but it's sort of situational, or she could get a shield without having a charge bar, but if you do charge your bar, that other shield just goes away, making it kind of useless on its own too. 13th, Leon Star Power Buffy. First of all, one of Leon's buffies is literally just his deleted mythic gear. It's like using that star power has no difference from before and now. And his other star power is good, but it's not too strong. Most of the buffies are overpowered in some way, keeping this buffy down here. 12th, Bull Gadget Buffy. Just like Leon's star power buffy, this buffy is good, but not really broken. The movement speed buff is nice, nothing major, but it's respectable. Then the mark is a bit weird, but it could somehow end up working in certain situations, so it's not bad either. 11th, Bull Hyper Buffy. Bull's Hyper Buffy pierces through enemies, although I don't really think that it's that necessary, since Bull normally only kills one enemy at a time. It's still useful when going against more than one enemy, however, so it's not too low in the ranking, but that scenario is always uncommon anyway, so I can't put it too high either. 10th, Leon Gadget Buffy. Leon's Lollipop drop gadget having faster movement speed really doesn't make a difference. It's barely noticeable and then you can easily kill the Lollipop. Even if you put it behind a wall, the movement speed doesn't help much. And then his clone gadget swapping isn't that broken either, since the clone can be wiped out in a second. There's potential there however, so it's not too bad. 9th, Nita Hyper Buffy. Nita's range is pretty much her biggest weakness, so having it be larger helps her a lot more than one might think. However, her main attack still isn't really that powerful even with the Hyper Buffy, so she's not too up high in the ranking either. However, if you catch an enemy off guard, it can still be really useful. 8th, Bow Gadget Buffy. Bow's totem having a bigger radius is pretty useful of course. Nothing crazy, but it's nice. Interestingly enough though, his other gadget can stun the enemy with his arrows if you're using the stunning star power. Both variations of this gadget are still solid in their own right, so it's definitely one of the better choices, albeit not the best choice obviously. 7th, Crow Star Power Buffy. It's funny, all the other star powers are in the bottom 6. Crow's the only one not in it. The 5% damage buff isn't too crazy, but his other star power is really good. An extra second of poison combined with the gadget can lead to a lot of damage from just one shot. 6th, Leon Hyper Buffy. Leon normally wants to get close with his super anyway, so having more damage specifically from afar doesn't make a huge difference. However, if he doesn't have a super or something, popping this can let him still deal a ton of damage to the enemy, forcing them to run away instead, or at least just give him the damage buff when in hyper form anyway. 5th, Bow Hyper Buffy. Bow having a 4th arrow is pretty much a free 1340 damage per shot, and having a bigger blast radius is a cherry on top. This lets Bow charge more supers faster and apply additional pressure, and it's got a ton of different use cases because of all of that. It doesn't quite reach the top 4 though, and one more Buffy is missed out on the podium. 4th, Crow Hyper Buffy. Crow's boomerangs returning back to him let him have access to a lot more damage potential when charging his super faster. And there's also even more control with these, and combine that with his speed. It's extremely difficult to kill Crow like this. It barely missed out on the podium though, so let's see what's in bronze. Third, Crow Gadget Buffy. Crow's gadgets are both great in their own right. Being able to chain a slow with an easy to hit dagger can be massive, although it's technically worse than its old version. His other gadget, however, combine it with his star power, and that's up to a whopping 10 seconds of poison with the 5 seconds on default and then the gadget's bonus 5. That is genuinely insane, and it has a bunch of potential to change the game. Second, BB Gadget Buffy. Now obviously her slowing gadget is the worst one, but it's still got a huge range and the slow can last a long time. And then her other gadget, which is also bugged for some reason, lets her pretty much be unstoppable. You need to do a lot of damage to properly kill BB, and it somehow hasn't been patched, yet there's something else somehow even more broken than that. What is it? Let's find out. First, BB Hyper Buffy. This one isn't even bugged. BB's Hyper Buffy is straight up broken. It's the return of Buzz Lightyear with how fast she unwinds and how much damage she does, with an additional 2 seconds to her hypercharge duration to just rub salt on the wound. Once her gadget bug gets patched, this Buffy will be by far the best Buffy in the entire game. And that's the ranking. Do you disagree with anything? Do you want me to make more of these for every batch? Please, tell me in the comments. I hope you all have a great day. And this is Pluggy, signing off.